Hello folks, I'm PK and I'm here to talk about the two remaining matches of the quarterfinals of the World Cup 2018. The first match fought between France and Uruguay, and we gotta remember that Cavani was absent in that match. He couldn't play because he was injured, and that made a tremendous difference for the Uruguayan team. That had only Suarez playing there. He was kind of a control by the defensive area of France, who actually played better in the first half. But I guess the main difference for this match, what it was like a decisive point, was the difference between the two goalies, in this case Muslera and Lloris. The match, France had the upper hand, building better plays, but the defense, Uruguayan defense, was very strong with Godin, Jimenez, and France could just not create and finalize some plays. And then finally, when they had like a free kick, Griezmann centered the ball to Varane, and it was kind of interesting. It was before the defensive duel, which was quite strong, so he centered the ball a little ahead, like right in the starting area of the PK, and then he had the ball, giving the French team the advantage, the score advantage in the match, the leading of the match. So they came back, and then it was kind of interesting. That shows the difference of the goalie. Uruguay had exactly the same opportunity. The ball was launched in the air in French, and Carceres had the ball brilliantly for an amazing save, Lloris, that made a difference, saving France from the equalizer goal. So the first half ended 1-0 for France. They came back for the second half, and Griezmann took a shot from very far away, without much pretension to score the goal, and Muslera just made a horrible mistake, a huge mistake, giving the 2-0 lead for the French team, which was a better team. And then Uruguay just became desperate and defeated in the match. They tried to Tavares tried to substitute, as he always does, in the middle, but it was just nothing that he could have done could have changed the fate of this match. France won 2-0, and they would advance, showing that Uruguay really lacked the fact that Cavani was not there, and they also deserve a better goalie. Muslera is a very experienced goalie, but his primes are far gone. So France advances to the semifinal. In the other match, Brazil played Belgium, and I think the main difference was the fact that the coach, the preparation for the match for the Belgian team, was showing a lot of respect for the Brazilian team, like studying the Brazilian team and preparing for the match. Like they used 4 defenders on the match, showing that they knew that Brazil was quite strong on the left side with Coutinho and Neymar and Marcelo advancing. So he knew also that Brazil had a flaw on the defensive system with the height of their players. So he took out Mertens, who was one of the best players when part of the 4 players that were quite offensive players with Hazard, De Bruyne, Lukaku, and Mertens. So he took Mertens out, which could have been actually very dangerous for Marcelo on the left side. So Mertens was not playing. He used Fellaini, and that was very effective. And Brazil, the coach did not change anything. He had to change Casemiro because Casemiro had received his second yellow card, so he was out of the match. Instead of trying to do something to focus on Lukaku and De Bruyne, he didn't do anything different. He put Fernandinho there, which is a player who had already been responsible for Brazil's failure against the match, the 7-1 loss to Germany. So Fernandinho had the psychological aspect against him and many other factors. He's a player that should not even be among the group, but he was there. He started the match, and he was one of the biggest responsibles for the Brazilian loss in this match. Right from the beginning, he made a mistake, and De Bruyne had a clear shot. He almost scored a goal right in the beginning of the match. And then second, he was just not there. He was just completely absent. He allowed Fellaini to take a shot and give it a corner to Brazil, and the ball was centered in the area. He marked his own player. He was kind of a scare of company. He marked his own player, and he ended up putting his arm on the ball and giving the goal against the Brazilian team, giving the goal to the Belgian, which had the first goal, opening goal of the match at minute 13. Nothing was changed. Brazil kept trying to attack, but showing that a lot of the defensive part of Brazil was completely controlled by the Belgian strategy. And then again, Lukaku kind of moved backwards on the match, and almost playing like a midfielder, got the ball and once again took advantage of the open area, sort of like an avenue that Brazil had right in the middle, because Fernandinho was just not there at all. So Lukaku advanced, gave the ball to De Bruyne, who took a shot, a brilliant shot, by the way, giving the Belgians the lead of 31 minutes of the match in the first half. And I thought the Brazilian coach Tite would make changes. I even thought that perhaps he could have put Diogo Costa, who's a very good player, Douglas Costa, who's a very fast player who plays on the right side for Brazil. Maybe he could have replaced Gabriel Jesus, or he could have been like in putting William on the match on the right as a right fullback and Douglas Costa in front with Firmino, but he didn't do that. He just waited too long. He put Firmino. He took replace William, keeping the right fullback who was just being destroyed by Hazard, and Brazil could just not take the control of the match. And he kept this way for the first 13 minutes. And then when he finally realized that things were not working, finally put Douglas Costa. And then things started changing. Brazil started attacking a lot. Douglas Costa made a phenomenal second half, like the 30 minutes that he was there. And then he replaced Paulinho by Renato Augusto, and Brazil became much more offensive. He should have actually taken Fernandinho on the second half, who was not playing well at all, and put Paulinho back there, put Renato Augusto up there. Brazil would have a very strong forward line, and they needed to score 2 goals. And I think if he had done that before, right after the second half, Brazil could have a chance to tie. Like when Renato Augusto entered the field, Brazil scored a goal, like the first goal, so they were losing 2-1, but they only had like 15 minutes to go ahead, and they could not find the equalizer, and Brazil lost, and they're out of the cup. I'm going to put the blame on Tite for just making the wrong moves in this match, and Brazil's out of the cup. It's a good thing for Belgium because, this is a very talented team, like probably the most talented squad Belgium ever had. They've lost in the quarterfinals to Argentina in a very unfair way in the last World Cup. This time they will advance and they will play France in the semi-final battle in a French match. Like both teams speak French, so it's going to be a francophone battle. I would say the Belgian team has more talent. They have it's a phenomenal talented team with Witsel, with Fellaini, with Mertens, if Mertens plays in this match, with Lukaku, with Hazard and De Bruyne. But French is also a very talented team. I'd say a little bit faster, a little bit stronger in the defensive side. And we got to say French has more traditions, and this is the time in which tradition speaks a little bit louder. So I would say I would go with France due to the fact that the French team has already been champion. They have been there. They're more used to that kind of pressure. I think Belgium will feel the pressure, and because of that, the French team has the upper hand, just the same way as England would play Croatia. I think the same thing is going to happen. England has more tradition. I think that's going to count in the match between England and Croatia. So these are my commentaries for the second day of the quarterfinals. We're moving ahead to the semifinals, and I'll talk about that as soon as they're over. I'll see you next time.